So this is Saturday morning. Miss Lori's really been sick, y'all. She possibly food poisoning or some kind of real stomach virus, and me trying to get the cabinets done and her not feeling good, and I thought I'd talk about this mini split air conditioner, and also it works like a heat pump. It also will put out heat. It's something that we just added in the last few weeks. It's something that I intended to put in this house when we built, and had some my well cost about $3,000 more, and just a few things then. And so we've been using window air conditioner units, and we just have a small one in the front room and one in the bedroom, just 110 units. And you know, they create a lot of noise, and I've just never been a big fan of a window unit. They're fine if that's all you have and want to use. But this is a 2-ton, 24,000 BTU. And it is made by Mitsubishi. We got it from a local airman here. And these are, they call them mini splits, and you can actually, they have them set up where you can run different inside cooling units to different parts of the house. You can put them in different rooms. They have as much as, some of them are made to put in like in 4 different rooms. I mean, you can, especially on initial construction, you could really do it. This is, you know, adding on outside after is a little different, not quite as pretty. But this, we opted to put it up in the very top of the house, up in the cathedral ceiling. That goes into our bedroom, and we put it right up there in the very top. And my theory on that is that's where all the hot air is during the summertime. And I believe that it will circulate that air and keep the house really good. We have been using it on cool some, and we have used it on heat, and it works. So far, it works, you know, really well. So we'll go inside and see what the unit looks like inside. So this is what the unit looks like inside. It's up at the very top of the ceiling, and it has the fan part of it comes out the bottom, and it has a directional. You can kind of adjust it the way the fan blows, and it will oscillate. It will oscillate up and down if you want it to. So that's just kind of a little review of the unit we put in, and I won't miss the noisy window units inside the living room and when we're trying to watch TV. This is reasonably quiet inside and very quiet outside.
Hi guys, I know Mr. Brown told y'all that I have been sick for about 3 days, but I think I'm doing a little bit better now. I'm not too sure if it was a stomach bug or if maybe I had gotten a little bit of bacteria in my gut from, we had ate out at a Mexican restaurant that day, because that night is when I started getting deathly sick. So it was one or the other. I didn't go to the doctor, I just took care of it here. And I am doing a little bit better, good enough to bake a couple pies. So what we're going to do today, and I'm so glad that y'all are with us and that you're spending time looking at the new kitchen reveal. I'm very proud of it, very proud. My son Jeremy, he done a very good job building these cabinets. He built them in his shop, like I said, and brought them here, and they fit really well. So he done a good job. And it's not something he does for a living. He's just that talented that he can do this stuff. So, and Mr. Brown, He helped me stain, he helped me paint, and he's just really helped me get this side of the kitchen done. So he's done a great job, and I think he's kind of proud of it too. So anyways, I'm glad y'all are here with me, and we're going to bake a couple pies. And today, what I'm going to be making is, here lately, you know, every time I look on this side of my kitchen is where some of my cookbooks are, but it's where all of my gifted cookbooks are that all of y'all have given to me in the last couple of years, every one of them. And what I want to do is every so often, if not every time that maybe I'm doing a cooking video, that I use something out of one of these cookbooks, because some of them are so old and so interesting, and some of them are so old that you really, some of the recipes don't even make sense. You know what I'm saying? They are that old of recipes. You think, oh, this is not going to work, but it's really interesting researching them and reading them. And I do a lot of that, so I want to start sharing that with y'all, because I know a lot of y'all love these old cookbooks too, and a lot of y'all have some of them. And y'all that have gifted me these cookbooks, it blesses my heart so much that y'all send me these old cookbooks, new cookbooks, because y'all know how much I really appreciate them, how much I use them too. But today we're going to be using a recipe. And I've done videos on buttermilk pie, and I can't even remember if I've done one on just plain custard pie. It's been that long. I didn't even take the time to go back to see, because I couldn't remember. But I'm going to be making 2 custard pies today, because I can tell y'all, and this is not being mean, but when it comes to custard pie, Mr. Brown can eat one by himself. He absolutely loves them. So he's been working so hard this week, not just at work, at school, but here at home, taking care of me and trying to get the kitchen done and just everything. So we're going to make a couple of custard pies. This recipe, even though I do have my own recipe, I'm going to use this one, and they're pretty much all about the same. You know, when it comes to a custard pie, it's milk and eggs and sugar, and some people put nutmeg in them. We don't like nutmeg, so I leave that out. But if you like nutmeg, put you about, the recipe calls for just a pinch of nutmeg. So, but I'm going to be doing a double. I'm going to double the recipe. So I'll tell you the recipe, and I'll tell you how I'm doubling it. So in case you want to be writing that down as I go. Of course, the recipe will be in the description box below the video. And I always put my recipes down there. You just click on that. If you're looking on your phone, there'll be a little arrow below the video. You click on it and it'll come down with, it'll have all my information and recipes. If you're on the TV, I think it says show more or something like that, or on your computer. But that's always where my information will be. But this cookbook was gifted to me among so many of them. And this one is the American Woman's Cookbook, 1942, I believe. And it's in such good condition for being so old. But the pages are in such good condition. And it's just, I've read and researched a lot of the recipes. But when I come to this custard pie recipe, I thought, one of these days I'm going to make this recipe. And I'm going to do it on video. So today's it. Like I said, I'm going to make 2. These are 9-inch, and I'm cheating. I'm using store-bought crust today, so this is semi-homemade, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I want to tell y'all what I done a while ago. The first thing I done is I got an egg white, and I like to brush, especially with a custard pie, I brush the bottom of my pie shells, and this is before they're baked. And what that does is it kind of helps the bottom of the crust from getting so soggy. You know, as your pie sets, you know, before maybe even you get it cut, or after you cut it and it has sat there a while, that bottom crust kind of gets soggy. This is supposed to help just a little bit, and it does help a little bit. But I'm going to double this recipe, but I'm going to tell you, and then I'll tell you how I doubled it. And in this bowl, I've got 6 cups of room temperature milk. Now you can scald this milk if you want to, and just cool it down a little bit. But I just brought it, It's just a room temperature and it's fine. And the recipe calls for 3 cups, but I'm going to double it and I'm using 6 cups. Then I've got 8 eggs here. The recipe calls for 4 eggs, but I'm going to double it and I'm going to use 8 eggs. And I'm hoping I can get it all in this one bowl. So, I've got 6 cups of milk and 8 eggs. And my bowl is getting full. And I hope, if I can't get all this custard in both of these pies, and they're supposed to be 9-inch pie shells, I'll find me something else to pour it in. Some kind of little container and bake it. I can freeze it. You can freeze these pies. Okay, we got our milk and our eggs. I got 1 cup of sugar. The recipe calls for a 1/2 cup, but I'm putting a cup because I'm doubling it. I'm just going to gently stir it and hoping that it don't overflow my bowl. I need a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. The regular recipe calls for 1/4 teaspoon of salt. At this point, you can put a little bit of nutmeg if you want some nutmeg, or if you want to put a little bit of cinnamon in here. Now, I'm going to sprinkle the top with cinnamon. So now all we like is a teaspoon of vanilla. The recipe calls for a 1/2 teaspoon, but I'm going to put a teaspoon. And we're just going to stir this good. Then we're going to get them in our pie shell. Now, my oven is heated to 425, and I'm going to put it in there for 10 minutes. And then we will reduce it down to 325, and we'll go another 30 to 40 minutes. So now that we got that stirred good. Now what I think I'm going to do, to keep from making such a mess, I'm going to get me a dipper to dip it into my pie shells, because y'all know that Miss Lori can make a big mess. I want to tell y'all a video that I watched this morning, and it just brought tears to my eyes. It was just so sweet, and it just touched my heart so much. But while I was kind of cleaning up and getting things ready, and I turned my phone on because I'm kind of behind. You know, I don't have much time to watch very many videos. I wish I did, because I used to watch videos so much, everybody's videos. There just don't seem to be enough time anymore. But it was Collard Valley Cooks. And I know a lot of y'all, most of y'all, know who I'm talking about. And it was a recipe for her mama's blue ribbon sponge cake. Y'all, I think this is enough to make 4 of these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue to fill these 2 up. And then I'm going to put some in I'm not even going to put them in a shell, I'm just going to put them in a pie pan. But anyways, I want to finish my story. It was her mama's blue ribbon sponge cake. And it turned out to be a beautiful cake. But this video has got her mama's voice in it as she's making the recipe. And I have to tell y'all, it just brought tears to my eyes. It was probably the most thought out cooking video I guess I've ever seen. It's just a very special. But it got me to thinking, you know, I've never, you know, hearing her mama's voice, it just touched my heart because I know how much it means to her and her family to have that. And I'm just sprinkling a little bit of cinnamon and sugar over my custard. That's all I'm doing. And, you know, I got to thinking what I would give to hear my mama's voice. I've never heard my mama's voice. I never knew my mama. And at the age of 27, when I thought I was pretty close to finding my mama, and I did find my family, they found me, and I can tell you it's been a blessing ever since. But then I found out that my mother had been killed in a tragic car wreck, probably when I was about 11 or 12, and I may be wrong on that, I might have been 10 or 11. So I still didn't get to meet my mama or even hear her voice. So watching Tammy in this, I just thought it was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. But people on my biological mama's side, you know, I say if I could just hear my mama's voice just one time. And many of them have said, well, Lori, if you can just hear yourself talk, you'll hear your mama talking. So that touches my heart too. But anyways, I'm going to put the link below to this video. And I hope y'all all go over and watch it. Because I guarantee you, if it don't bring a tear to your eye, I just don't see how not. It's beautiful. But anyways, 425, 10 minutes. But first thing I'm going to do, because I haven't done it yet, put my old cookie sheet in here that I used to place my pies on. Ooh, that's hot. And I'm going to get these in the oven. And then I'm going to put the rest of my custard in just a regular pie pan without a pie shell. And I'm putting this in the middle part of the oven without spilling it. "10 minutes, then we're going to turn it down to 325. So I'm going to put my time cook, and then we'll turn it down here in just a minute. So I'm just wondering, do y'all have this cookbook, or your mama or your grandma? It's a great little book. I just love it. I just love looking through them. And I've got another book that we're going to look through at the end of the video. And we're going to read a little bit out of it. So I'm going to get the rest of my custard so you can see how much it made. So if you're needing to make several pies for church, family get together, or maybe you're going to take them to sell them, or just anything. Because we used to, you can't no more right now since COVID, but we used to have where you could go up there and they had a pie and cake auction at school. That used to be a lot of fun. But this does make quite a bit. So anyways, let's get our pies cooked. I'll come back in just a minute when we turn our oven down. I'm going to get this in a pie pan. Okay, look here, y'all. I'm going to put the rest of this custard in just this square cake pan, and I just buttered it and put a little bit of sugar around there. And I'll cool this off, and I'll put this in the refrigerator, and I may even freeze this, but you can eat custard cold. Mr. Brown would probably go in there and just cooking it like this, and just slicing a piece out of there and just eating that custard. I mean, how can you get any better than that? I'm just going to pour the rest in there. Put me a little bit of cinnamon and sugar on top, and then I'm going to put this in the oven and do it the same as the other. I wanted to get up here close and show y'all this is the butcher block countertop, and Jeremy got this at Lowe's, and I can't remember how much the butcher block is a square foot, or however they measure it, but anyways, he got it at a pretty good price. So, and Danny still has to caulk around the edges. We ain't got that done yet, but he's fixing to work on that when he gets time. But we stained it, and in fact, I'm going to show you what we used. It is from Walmart, and it's Watco, and it's butcher block oil and stain. It's supposed to be food grade, but it does have some petroleum in it, so I don't know how they call it food grade. But anyways, it works really, really well. It's got it's sealed good. It has a really good finish on it, and the color is pretty much exactly what I wanted to go with the gray. And we done the trim in the same color, and I really like the way the trim goes around the gray like that. I think it looks good. And then my little knobs, I didn't know for sure, but Miss Lori has to have a little bit of red in her kitchen, and I like for things to have contrast and stand out just a little bit. And I found these little knobs. They were on Amazon, and they just got a cute little design on them, red. So that's what I went with. I could have got more of an old-fashioned looking pull handle, and that's really what I was going to go for, but I thought we need a little bit of pop on these gray cabinets, so that's what I went for, and I think I really like them. They look really good. I love this farm sink. Now, this is not an old one, this is a new one, and like y'all remember, like we've talked about, you know, I had my mother-in-law's old farm sink. I've always wanted one like this, just a one big bowl farm sink. And I do know that these have been around like this for so many years, and they're real popular and always have been over in the European countries. It's just one of them things that I think makes it look like more country, more, of course this is a cabin, but makes it look more of a farmhouse, and I just love the look. And the inside is good, and it's got enough space in it. Now it does just have one drain, but so far it's worked really well and done a good job. I do think it looks pretty good. So I've got one thing that I need y'all's help with. I found this tin, and I ended up getting two pieces of it, but they're, of course, I think it's 24 by 24, which is way too big. But what I had in mind was we can cut it in half, and that would be plenty of pieces to go down the back for a backsplash. I like the look. I like the fact that it's tin, and I think it's very popular right now. I looked for more of an antique look, and everything I found was already sold out, and it just was in back order everywhere I looked. I could take this and antique it myself. We just don't like the brightness of the color it is. When I put it up there, we just didn't like it. So, like I said, we're going to cut it in half, so it'll just be, it's probably about 12 inches. But anyways, we need a backsplash. So, we're debating on painting it. So we're not sure, you know, we don't want all kinds of colors, but you need contrast, especially when you've got something like dark gray cabinets. But you can see how good the red looks with the gray. It just has a pop to it. But I want to bring y'all closer to this picture. We're talking about this as the pie's cooked, so this picture was given to me years ago. My daughter got this for me. But it's kind of a antique look there. You can tell that the background is black, and then they went over it with red. And I'm kind of thinking, what if I done the backsplash like that? And the backsplash is only going to come up as tall right to here, where the plug-in is in the light switch. I mean, that's as tall as it's going to be, from the top of the cabinet to there. So, what do y'all think? I don't want more gray. And we just thought maybe antiquing it a little bit, spray painting the background a flat black, and then coming over it with a flat barn red, and kindly distressing it and antiquing it. It's kind of what we've got in mind. Not sure. That's just so y'all might help us with that decision. Maybe y'all have something better in mind. I was not about to get rid of the old seller's cabinet that Mr. Brown bought me when we first built this cabin 6 years ago. So we could have went down the rest of this wall with counter space, but then I'd have had to got rid of it, and I just couldn't do it. So that's where it's going to stay till I guess it falls down. And I figure it'll be here as long as I will. But I'm really proud of how this turned out. And I want to thank my son-in-law, Jeremy, and I want to thank Danny for getting all this done for me. All the cabinet space and the extra counter space has made such a difference. Okay, the pies have been in there for 10 minutes at 425, and I turned it down to 325, and we're going to give it about 30 more minutes. I want to show y'all something. We're going to walk over here to my pantry. I want y'all to look at this. I got a little mouse in my pantry. Isn't he sweet? That's my little mouse. He watches over my pantry. He's so cute. He's got a little tail. This was a gift from a subscriber friend, and he just sits here in my pantry and just kind of looks over it. It's called the Fat Pantry Mouse. It says a simple reminder of the blessings of a full pantry. If you have enough food to share, and if the mouse is indeed fat, then your household isn't getting hungry. Blessings of a full pantry. Isn't that cute? I had my glasses on, I still could barely read that. But yeah, he just sits up here on the shelf. I see him every day that I come in here. I just love him. I want to share with y'all, because I told y'all I was going to read something to y'all out of another book that one of my subscriber friends sent to me. And it's called Our Daily Bread. The copyright was 1959. And there's so many devotionals, and mainly every page has verses out of the Bible. And it has stories and testimonies. And I really love reading it. But I want to share this one. It says it's about motherhood. Since Mother's Day is coming up, I'm just going to read this little bit of this here on this page. It says, her children arise up and call her blessed. Woman that feareth the Lord, she shall be praised. Proverbs 31:28-30. It says here, it says, every mother who is worthy of the name must first of all give herself to the Lord Jesus Christ, so that she will be in a position to train and bless her children in a spiritual way by her words and conduct. Secondly, to fulfill the high standards of motherhood laid down in the Bible, she must sacrificially give herself to her family and unselfishly put them first. One mother who put this into practice has written the following testimony. When my children were young, I thought the very best thing I could do for them was to give them myself. So I spared no pains to talk to them, read to them, teach them, and to pray with them. And in this way, to be a loving companion and a friend to my children. I had to neglect my housework often. I had no time to improve myself in many ways that I should have liked to do. I had my reward now. My sons are ministers of the gospel. My grown-up daughters are Christian women. I have plenty of time now to sit down and rest, plenty of time to keep my house in order, plenty of time to indulge myself in many ways, besides going about my master's business wherever he has need of me. I have 1,000 beautiful memories of their childhood to comfort me. Now that they have gone out into the world for themselves, I have a sweet consciousness, I have a sweet consciousness of having done all that I could to make them ready for whatever work God calls them to do. I gave them the best that I had. I gave them myself. A mother's heart is a child's schoolroom, and that's so true. So I thought that was a really neat little testimony and story there, and I love this book. So I'll be reading to y'all out of it every once in a while. So I hope y'all enjoyed that. Okay, I want to update y'all on the cookbook situation. You know, sometimes in life things just don't happen as fast as you thought they were going to. And that really stinks. And you don't have no control of it. So, last I heard, let me turn this around a little bit, that light is right in y'all's face. Last I heard, my cookbooks were not coming in till May 17th. I don't know if the people that are doing my cookbooks, you know, I've had to order so many of them that it does take a while to get them all printed, that's for sure. But they said May 17th. So that kind of just stuck my heart there for a minute. Because I know so many of y'all, well, over 500 of y'all that have already sent me payments are waiting for your cookbooks. And your payments are, they're still here. They're safe, but I won't put the payments through until the cookbooks are here, that's for sure. So, but just as soon as they get here, I'm going to get a bunch of people together and we're going to get them cookbooks sent out. That's going to get done. My throat's getting really dry from talking, I guess. Excuse me. And I might have to get all the kids together, but we're going to get it done for sure. And so that being said, I'm afraid I don't want to take any more payments at this time until I get all of these back orders out, the people that's already paid, and then I'm going to go from there. But I will announce when I start my orders over again, and because I think I found a company that I'm going to go through to sell my books for me, because I will be doing more. But at this point, I'm just waiting for my books to still come in. So I know a lot of you guys are waiting and waiting and waiting. And like I said, I've had no control over it, and I wish I did for sure, but I don't. So that's the last count I got of my cookbooks. You know, it just seems like so many things are behind anymore. And I don't like to get upset about it because I don't never know the situation. And this is a good company, and they've really been good to me. So I've been really patient about it, and I know y'all have too, for sure. So anyways, that's the update on cookbooks. But I don't need to be taking any more orders right this minute. I surely don't want no more payments on them until I have them in my hand. I'm just that way. But hopefully, maybe they were wrong about May 17th. Maybe they'll get here a little bit earlier, hopefully. But just as soon as they do, we're gonna get them out. So anyways, that's the update, and you'll just be patient with me. That's all I can say. And y'all really have been, and I thank y'all for that. So here's our custard pies, and they're done. And this one over here is kind of willy-nilly because it's the one that, when that cookie sheet buckled, it spilt over the side. But it took about 10 minutes at 425, and then it took about 35 minutes at 325. And even my little custard here got done. And what you do is you just take a knife or whatever and just stick it in there, and when it comes out clean, you know it's done. And they're all done. And it's still too hot to cut, or we'd taste one. But anyways, this is your very old recipe for custard pie. And a good way to use up a bunch of eggs, that's for sure. Well, friends, I guess I'll tell you bye for now. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. It's just a little bit of life and times on Whippoorwill Holler. You know, if you want it to stay real and stay true, that's just pretty much everyday life and things that go on. I'm sitting here on the porch, and of course the pond's just down the holler right here. It's such a pretty view, and we had so much rain it is completely full again. And it hasn't went completely dry again, so I'm very, very grateful for that. It just, such a pretty sight. And, you know, even now, it's about between 11 and 11:30 in the morning, and I can still hear the frogs and stuff down on the pond. And, you know, I'm very, what you might say, passionate about permaculture and the ecosystem and stuff like that. I watch videos and read about it constantly, and I've done it for many years. It's just something that it's really something in my heart that I guess maybe that's why I like to garden so much. And that's probably why I decided that to move away from the farm and to build up in the woods and maybe build our own little ecosystem up here. And building this pond has made another big step towards that. So when you can constantly hear your different frogs and just life down there on the pond, you know that your ecosystem has stepped up a notch. And it just seems like it just keeps getting and growing every day. So the garden's doing good because we've had plenty of rain, and things are really starting to really perk up around here, including me. But Mr. Brown's gone right now. He went to work on his boat. That man is so ready to get on the river, and I just can't wait for him to get out there, because I tell you what, Miss Lori's going to get out there with him. And when I do, I'm going to do videos. Because I know how bad y'all want to see these rivers up here. Right now they're up and they're muddy because we had a lot of rain up here in Arkansas. But anyways, I hope y'all enjoyed the video. And if y'all have any suggestions on my backsplash, let me know. The pies turned out good. I had a little mishap with the pies, and it was funny because I was standing there just thinking, I heard, you ever have your cookie sheet in the oven cooking cookies or anything, and this time I had 2 pies on it, and it wants to buckle, it pops, and you hear it, and you open that thing, and it's kind of sideways. That's because it went from a cold temp to very hot. And what I should have done is stuck my cookie sheet in there and let it get hot, but I forgot to. But anyways, it did. It buckled. And I opened that oven up, and I could hear that custard pouring over, over that pie crust. My lands, I'm telling you. But anyways, I got it cleaned up and the pie's back in the oven. But anyways, they turned out good. So y'all have a blessed weekend. And remember, God loves you and we love you. Y'all stay safe and be happy. And we'll see you in a couple of days.